What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal. I hope everyone's had a great Saturday. Hope you guys are ready for week three's Sunday NFL slate to kick off tomorrow. Hopping into week three of the fantasy season as well. I've already had Thursday night football, but you guys know what I mean. Week three, firing up tomorrow. Going to be another great day of NFL action. Then we have two Monday night games as well. So a lot to get ready for, a lot to get over. So you know what we're going to do. Fantasy Q&A, whatever you guys need for week three, start, sits, last minute waiver ads, trades, roster reviews, whatever it is. Get in the live chat. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football for week three. All right. I am like slightly under the weather. I'm fine, but like my throat is all like scratchy and I'm like congested. I was sick like literally like exactly a month ago. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong this year, but just so you guys know, if I'm moving a little slow tonight, or my voice sounds weird, it's because I'm sick, okay? But I'm happy to be here and happy to help you guys with your week three fantasy lineups. So let me know what you guys need. In terms of news for the day, we got a couple updates, but I think most of these updates, at least for the most part, we were kind of expecting anyways. So George Kittle has been ruled out for tomorrow's game against the Rams. T. Higgins will be playing Monday night. He's good to go. We kind of have Justin Herbert's status up in the air, though. There's optimism he's going to play. Kind of came out that he had suffered a high ankle sprain, so he's still questionable. See what happens there. Other than that, we knew everything else. So Kittle out, Higgins in. I think everything else we went over in last night's stream, but we'll see what happens with Herbert as well. All right, let me know what you guys need. Let's talk some fantasy football. JSC, good to see you. What's up? Chase, what's up, my guy? Hello. How you guys doing? FBU says start Baker or Dak. So, I mean, I think that I think that Dak is going to have his best game of the year so far, fantasy-wise, which is not saying much. He has not been very good to start the year. But I think that Baker is the safer option. I don't think there's nearly as much risk with starting Baker this week. He gets the Broncos. I think it's another just solid matchup. This is a home matchup. The Broncos are kind of right in the middle. They're allowing the 18th most fantasy points to the quarterback position. So, like, it's not a bad matchup. It's not a great matchup. And I could see this being a poor performance for that Broncos unit defensively on the road. So I think if you want to play it safe, you just go Baker. I mean, honestly, the way things are going, if it was my roster, I'd probably just put Baker out there. But if you wanted to go Dak at home against the Ravens defense that against the Chiefs was bad in week one, and week two was not good against the Raiders. I mean, this is kind of like it for the Cowboys, I feel like. I mean, it's not, but, we got to see a good performance out of this Cowboys offense, and this is as good of a spot as that they've had this year to do so. So I am totally okay if you want to go Dak, but if it was me personally, I'm going to roll Baker out there. But, I mean, Cowboys and Dak got to get this rolling at some point, I would assume. So, all right, that's going to be the poll question for the night. Who you starting, Dak or Baker? Hit the polls. All right, Fred, should I flex Jerry Jeudy or Zamir White? So we talked about Zamir White last night, and it's like, I mean, if Zamir White and or Alexander Madison, do not score a touchdown this week. I mean, I think we've already seen Madison score in each week. So if Zamir White cannot find the end zone against the Panthers, then Zamir White becomes droppable. Like, it's just at that point. Um, full PPR, I would probably go Jerry Jeudy. It's a good matchup against the Giants. I mean, the Giants are allowing the 14th most points to the wide receiver position, so it's not as bad as you would think. But I don't really trust the Giants on the road here. So I'm not going to be overly excited to start Jerry Jeudy, but I probably just go with Jerry Jeudy. Yeah. That's probably my start. I just don't know that I'm ready to throw Zamir White out there. Now, by logic, by looking at the matchup, Zamir White is in a fantastic spot. So, I mean, let me know. I actually want to know in the chat, if you own Zamir White, are you starting Zamir White this week? Speak up, Zamir White truthers or owners, or forever hold your peace. Chase, would you trade Dobbins in a 2025 third plus a 2025 fourth for Jacobs? Sure. If you prefer Jacobs, I think it's a fair swap. If you're not worried about the picks. I mean, I think longevity-wise, I probably still prefer Jacobs. If you can part with the picks and feel good about it, then sure. Start Steele or Zeke in standard. I mean, you're really just flipping a coin here and hoping that one or the other scores a touchdown. Who's more likely to score a touchdown this week? Zeke or my guy, Carson Steele? So Steele gets the Falcons on the road. Zeke's got the Ravens at home. Man, this Ravens defense has been bad. But we're only 2 weeks in. They've been pretty good against the run, though. They're giving up the 7th fewest fantasy points to the RB position. Then the Falcons are right next in line, giving up the 8th fewest. So I guess I'll go with the home team and go with Zeke here. I'm a little worried about Carson Steele. I think he's a very, very risky start. So I'll take the safer start. Carson, too many injuries and uncertainties. That's the beauty of it, right? Do you start Higgins or Chase? I mean, I'm still going to start Chase, but I think both are fantastic starts against Washington. But yeah, I'll go Chase. Thoughts on Evans versus Surtain? Should I start Jawan Jennings over him? No. Listen, great wide receivers show up in bad matchups all the time. I just couldn't stomach benching Mike Evans here. I mean, if you want to, then sure. I mean, like, you have a logical reason too. I play my guys. You know, a player of that caliber, I'm going to throw him out there. Jawan Jennings, I mean, could pop off though. So, I mean, he's got a great matchup. This Rams secondary is awful. So, I'm not going to bench Mike Evans personally, though. But if you want to, trust your gut. Am I overthinking it if I consider Shaheed over Chris Olave? No. You kind of have the floor play in Olave and the upside in Shaheed, but I mean, I like both these guys this week. This Eagles secondary is one of the worst in the league, giving up the second most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. So I don't think you're crazy or overthinking it, but I think both guys are going to have really good weeks. So, full PPR, start one: Dell, McLaurin, Judy, or Deontay Johnson. Me personally, I would still start Tank Dell. I know. The disappointment from Tank Dell through the first 2 weeks is real. And it's not particularly a fantastic matchup. This Vikings defense is good. Texans are on the road. I'm expecting this. This got to be a Stephon Diggs revenge game, right? Yeah, I would just tied to the best offense. I go Dell. If you just want like a floor play, it's probably Jerry Jeudy. I probably go Dell. Johnny 38. Start the Raiders or the Bengals. I go the Raiders. Give me the Raiders. Of course, I like them a lot more when I made the defense video for the week Sunday night because that was before Bryce Young got benched. But you know, here we are. Andy Dalton's at quarterback. But I mean, I think Cincinnati's probably like fine. You know what I mean? But I'm not like how many like I don't know. I'm not really betting against the Commanders' offense. You know what I mean? The Bengals 2 fantasy points week 1, 9 in week 2. Picked off Mahomes twice, but like I don't feel super excited, to say the least. So, but Cincinnati's defense. So, give me out of these two the Raiders. J Dubs, what's up, bro? All right, Jordan traded Kyron and Ridley for Jacobs, Olave, and Pickens. What are your thoughts? That's a good trade. Yeah, Jacobs versus Kyron is basically a wash. You know, I think both are perfectly fine. Like, there's really not a huge disparity between these two guys for me. I mean, maybe Kyron starts to get more touches because different wide receiver room and all that stuff. But yeah, Jacobs versus Kyron is very close. Basically, just a wash. So you're really getting Olave and Pickens for Ridley. So I think it's a good trade. I like it. Emil, what's going on? 3 Walketeers start Goff or Baker. I'll go Baker. Goff has a good matchup. So I do think we'll get a better fantasy performance out of Goff this week, but he's been bad fantasy-wise to start the year. You know, he's thrown at least one pick in each game. So it's a road game. Give me Baker. Chase, how are you doing? Hello. Carr or Daniels? Then Darnold or Captain Kirk? Yeah, I don't want to like, I think we know the ceiling of Jaden Daniels, right? The ceiling of Jaden Daniels is still, 28 points? Because it depends on your league scoring format. But yeah, 28 in week 1. So I don't want to like downplay Jaden Daniels as being a guy that we can basically start on a weekly basis in fantasy. But Carr is 21 and 22, and he gets the Eagles. So I'm probably going Carr. He's thrown at least 2 touchdowns in each game. I mean, I think that's easy money again against the Eagles. I'm going Carr. Now, Darnold versus Kirk is interesting because I do like Darnold this week. I think he's a solid start at home against Houston. So Houston is giving up their bottom 10 against the quarterback position. On the other hand, I would imagine, wow, the Chiefs have been really bad. Chiefs are giving up the second most fantasy points. I might go Captain Kirk. But I think you're kind of looking at a similar like floor and ceiling for both Darnold and Kirk. So I might go Kirk. I might go Kirk. But initially, I was thinking I might be leaning Darnold, but I think it's probably pretty easy to say that we're going to get a good amount of, maybe more of a shootout between the Chiefs and the Falcons. So think that I will change my mind and I'll go Captain Kirko. Chase, with another question, we got Chuba or Deontay. I mean, Deontay's basically been the first read for the Panthers on a regular basis for the first 2 games. But do I trust him? I don't know. See what it looks like with Andy Dalton at quarterback. I want to go. I think I want to go Chuba here. I think that's who I'd play. But like, what's the ceiling? I mean, the ceiling with either guy here is not good. So. But I get it. Some of us don't have better options. I have some rosters right now that I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Patrick, would you flex any of these over Higgins, Jennings, Waddle, Akers? No. Higgins gets the Commanders. Say no more. Patrick, Goff or Dak? I'll go Dak. J-Dub, Superflex, Fields or Levis? Fields doesn't have an ideal matchup against the Chargers, who've been solid on defense. They have. Packers were good last week, weren't so good week 1 for Will Levis. I think I still go Fields, man. Is this our Superflex league? Is this the league that you held on to Bryce Young? I mean, Fields 11.9, 11.3. Levis 8.6 and 12.4. I feel like the safer start is going to be Fields. Haas, what's up, bro? Flex, Akers or Deontay? I guess Akers. I'm just not doing I'm still not touching the Panthers offense unless I am forced to. I guess Akers. Once again, guys, I'm sorry. I'm a little under the weather, so I know I've been like a little spacey. My voice is all crackly. Sorry. Is it crazy if I start Jennings over Neighbors? Yeah, I'm still going to go Neighbors. Still going to go Neighbors, Dom. Jennings is fine. He's in a good, it's a good matchup. He's going to get the volume. Kittle's out. But I'm not going to like start him over guys that are viable starters on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? Never had it so good. Shaheed or Higgins? Eagles defense bad. So are the Commanders. Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong here. This is going to be super close. That'll be very close. I might go Shaheed because I think that game script will be more competitive. I think you're going to see the Eagles, battling back in this game, and I think that the the Bengals could get ahead early. So both are fine and very good starts and guys that I've talked about all week long. I'll go Shaheed by an inch. We're aloft. Hello. Kelsey or Ertz? Nah. Man, Kelsey hasn't even like been involved with the first 2 weeks. I mean, Kelsey. Is it crazy to say Ertz? Is that crazy, chat? This is probably like the last week I would start Kelsey until I'd start considering benching him. The Bengals are 14th against the tight end position. Let me pull up the Falcons. Sorry, I have to go. All right, so they're 20th. The Falcons are worse. I'll go Kelsey. I'll stick with Kelsey. Give me one more week of Kelsey. We'll leave it at that. Are you worried about Higgins back from injury? He's burned us too many times in the past after returning from injury. Less snaps played, limited. I mean, I think that most weeks, going into the week, this would be fair. But against the Commanders, no, I'm not worried. Not against this secondary. 3 Walketeers, Kirk, Deontay, Javonte, or Higgins. Yeah, I would just flex Higgins. I mean, this is one of those weeks that you can start both Higgins and Chase. So I wouldn't overthink it. Take the matchup. Eric, at the bottom of the chat, thank you for the super chat. Remember, if you guys want something answered right away, you can send a super. I will try to get through every question, though. Anyways. PPR, 3 wide receivers and a flex. Pick 4, Lamb, London, Godwin, JSN, and Neighbors. Got to start Lamb. You got to keep Godwin in your starting lineup. He's the wide receiver 1. Is he going to be the wide receiver 1 all season long? Probably not, but he's just playing way too good. Way too good to bench him. I probably go London and Neighbors. I'll probably take the guys getting the best volume here. Now, I know JSN had a really big week last week, and I don't dislike JSN this week by any stretch. But maybe we want to try and wait for a more consistent pattern. I mean, JSN had 16 targets last week. That's a lot of targets. But are we going to get that on a week in, week out basis? That's kind of what worries me. He had 2 targets week 1. And I don't know how competitive this game between the Dolphins and the Hawks is going to be. So I go Lamb, London, Godwin, Neighbors for me. See at the bottom of the chat, JSN versus London. I mean, and that's fine. Like, that's the thing, right? I think you're kind of in a position where any of these guys could outscore each other, which tends to happen. So, but I would feel the best personally about Lamb, London, Godwin, Neighbors. But if you wanted to go JSN over London, like, I don't think it's crazy by any stretch. But let me know if you need anything else, Eric. Thank you for the super chat. Definitely close. Chicago or Dallas, D rest of season? I mean, not Dallas. They've been awful. Not Dallas. It's got to be the Bears. Bears, 24 points week 1, 6 in week 2 at Houston. The Dallas Cowboys. Wow, they had set. That's right. They didn't even play that bad in week 1. I'm sorry. 17 points in week 1. It feels like so long ago. They look like a different team week 2. They're giving up the most fantasy points to the running back position. The Cowboys are. And they play the Ravens. I mean, they're at the Giants in week 4. Then they're at Pittsburgh. It's not bad, but it's like it's not good. And they got Detroit at home. Then they got a bye. Then they're at the Niners, at the Falcons, and they get the Eagles, the Texans. Not good, but then they're at Washington. They get the Giants, Cincy, at Carolina, Tampa Bay, at Philly. You got some late games towards the end of the season where they could have big streaming capacity, but I just don't trust this defense. So I'm going to lean Chicago at the moment. They got the Colts, the Rams, the Panthers, the Jaguars in the next coming weeks. That looks a lot more promising. Then a bye week at Washington, good. At Arizona, not good. You get the Patriots, probably good. Green Bay, probably not good. Minnesota, I'm going to go and say not good. At Detroit, at San Francisco, at Minnesota. That's a tough stretch. And they get the Lions and the Hawks. I mean, honestly, I would just stream defenses on a week in, week out basis. But for the time being, I'd rather hold the Bears. Higgins or Moss in the flex, asks Ryan. Higgins. Not even close. Warrior Loft, Hill or Metcalf or Shaheed? I'm probably just starting Hill. I mean, I'm not on the, are there really people out there saying you should bench Tyreek Hill? And I totally get it. Like, I get why, you guys might be worried if you own him and, to start him and all that stuff. But I'm not going to bench Tyreek Hill. I'm not. Now, if you are of the belief that you should, then it's Shaheed for me. Metcalf probably fine, but Shaheed, I mean, yeah, this matchup against the Eagles, come on. Got offered Amon-Ra, Singletary for Nico and Henry. No. Nico Henry side wins. Nico leads the league in receiving yards right now. Nico's going to be great this year. So wide receiver 4 in fantasy. And I'd way rather have Henry compared to Singletary. So, yeah, Nico, Henry for sure. Henry's ceiling might not be high, but he'll continue to be consistent. I have Jaden Daniels as a backup. Should I keep him, be patient, or make a trade for Baker or Carr? Just keep Jaden Daniels. No, you don't need to trade for anyone. Keep Jaden Daniels. Dobbins or Aaron Jones? Sorry, I'm sick. Let's plant some trees. Dobbins or Aaron Jones? I'm probably going Aaron Jones. Like, you want to go Dobbins, that's fine. I think you're kind of crossing your fingers he scores, but I just don't expect points in this matchup. I don't. And then Vikings, Texans feels like it's going to have more points. I'm off at Dobbins this week. Run CMC, start JMO and Worthy over DJ Moore and DeMarcus. I mean, you're kind of going for the upside here. So I'm okay with sticking with the upside. But if you want to throw someone in for kind of a floor, more grounded play, you go DJ Moore. But like personally, I'd probably take the floor with DJ Moore and then start Jameson Williams. But if you want to throw Worthy in over DJ Moore, then that's fine. I'm definitely starting JMO though. But just understand, Worthy also brings more risk. Ryan, Love or Baker if Love is back? I'll say Baker. I'm not really I don't want to start Jordan Love this week. I just don't. If he plays, I just don't. I'm good on wide receiver, but for depth, should I drop my second quarterback Daniels for Deontay Johnson? No, not if you're good at wide receiver depth. No. Keep Daniels. Lex, plant some trees. Akers, Steele, Deontay, Najee. Need a running back and a flex. I would probably go with Akers because there's no one else on this roster. And it's not a great matchup against the Vikings, but we know that this Texas offense can score. And I'd probably go Najee. It's not a great matchup here, but he'll get the volume, you know? So you don't really have a high ceiling play either way here, but it's probably Najee and Akers as the two safest plays for me. Sebastian, do I trade Dobbins and MH Jr. for CD? It depends on the rest of the roster. Like, there's very few players like I feel like if you can get that, you can't really like overpay for them, you know? And I would definitely say CeeDee Lamb is in that category. And this is still two really good players that you're going to give up here. It depends on the rest of the roster. But if you do it, I'm okay with it. Drew, what's up, man? Start two full PPR. Neighbors, JSN, Ridley, or Higgins. I'm going to start Neighbors and Higgins. Higgins, just due to matchup. This matchup is phenomenal, to say the least. And Neighbors, just the volume is there. It's not a bad matchup, not a good matchup. The Browns are right in the middle, the 16th most fantasy points to wide receivers. So I think you get kind of a nice floor play in Neighbors, and then you get a nice little upside play with Higgins against Commanders. FPU trade Garrett Wilson. I mean, it depends. What are you looking to get? What's the rest of your roster look like? What are you really going to get for Garrett Wilson right now? Like a low end RB2 if you need a running back? Like, what are you really going to swap for at wide receiver? You know, Garrett Wilson's not playing at a high ceiling. We finally got a touchdown out of him. He only had 14 fantasy points. His 12, 10.2, and 14.3. Those are his first 3 weeks. So 11 targets, 6 targets, 9 targets. You know, you're not really selling him at a high, which is what you want to look for. So I'll say no unless you can get the right offer. Sport Dog, 8-team standard. Was able to pick up Rico. I have Hall and Gibbs. Nice. Wilson, Moore. You can go Worthy, McLaurin, Higgins, Connor, B-Rob. So you already started Hall and Wilson. I go Higgins over DJ Moore. I get Higgins in there against the Commanders. Don't ignore this matchup against Commanders. If Malik Neighbors and Wendell Robinson can both score against this Commanders team, then I think Higgins and Chase can as well. Other than that, I think you're fine. I think Connor and B-Rob are both solid starts, but I like Higgins more. Seahawks defense or the Bears defense? This week, I'll go with the Hawks. Tyler, what's up? Alec Pierce or Darnell Mooney? I'll say Mooney. I don't think he's going to play at as high of a ceiling as last week. I'm a little worried about Alec Pierce because what exactly is he going to look like with Josh Downs back? You know, maybe he'll continue to be fine and be a pass catcher in this team that scores touchdowns, or maybe he isn't as involved. Hard to say. So I'll go Mooney, But I'll say if Downs wasn't coming back this week, I'd probably just go Pierce. Chuba or Samaje? I'm going Chuba. I'm not touching Samaje. Got to see it first. Higgins or B-Tom? I'll go Higgins, Gerald. B-Tom's fine. But half PPR especially, you want that touchdown upside, so give me Higgins. Full PPR, pick 3 between Waddle, Moore, Deontay, Akers, and Javonte. And full PPR, I'm probably still going to start Waddle and DJ Moore. I don't want to start Deontay, so it comes down to Akers or Javonte. Javonte has a good matchup. The problem is, I do think he's startable this week, but then it's like he has, he had 5 receptions last week. If he didn't have those receptions, then we're not looking at the same stat line last week. So I don't exactly know that I like starting him unless you don't have a better option, right? So I think I'll go Akers. Waddle, DJ Moore, and Akers. All right, Mateo, what's going on, man? Full PPR, pick 1 at wide receiver. You got AJ and Keenan out. Deontay Johnson, DeMarcus Robinson, Waddle, or Dobbs. Based on his matchup, I think going DeMarcus Robinson is fine. But I'm also okay with Waddle. I'm not 100% out on Waddle. I understand the concern about him, though. So, you want to take a chance on DeMarcus Robinson? I don't have any issue with it. But yeah, I don't want to start Deontay or Dobbs. Pierce or McLaurin, asks C. Butler. Which? Oh, Alec Pierce. Sorry. I mean, honestly, I'm a little worried about Alec Pierce. We just kind of talked about that. But I think I would still start him over McLaurin. I mean, we saw more volume for McLaurin last week. Pierce gets the Bears. It's not great. The Bengals are a worse matchup for McLaurin, though. I just worry about Pierce now with Josh Downs back. Like, what's that going to look like? I'll say the floor lies with McLaurin. The upside, if you feel like you need a little bit of upside, is going to lie with Pierce. Tough choice. Craig, A-Rich or Purdy, Moss or London? Purdy does have a good matchup. I'll take the upside at A-Rich, though. But if we're going to go Purdy, Purdy's the floor play. He's fine. Moss or London? Give me London. Yeah, full PPR, I'll go London. Moss is a good start, though. Ryan, when to trade A-Chain while the value is high? Weekday TB. Let me see if the chat's messing up on my end. What running back should I go for? I mean, you just want to trade A-Chain for another running back? I mean, how much better can you get? A-Chain's the RB5 right now. It's kind of hard. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to trade for like Breece Hall or Saquon or Kamara, I don't know who the RB4 is, but those are the top 3. Now I want to know who the RB4 is. But yeah, is it Cook? No, Cook's RB6. But yeah, I don't know if you're going to get much better than A-Chain on the season. So I don't think I'd trade him. I don't think I would trade A-Chain. Because I mean, like you got to, if you're going to trade him right now while the value is high, can't really trade him for like a player playing outside of the top 5. Unless you think a guy like James Cook or whoever is going to score more points on the season. Like I think you're looking at, I don't think you're going to get Hall, Barkley, or Kamara. So I mean, you'd be looking at like Kyron and Cook and Jacobs. There's only so many healthy running backs right now. Connor, like, I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think I'd do it. Jameson Williams, Drake London, or Ty Chandler. JMO. JMO for sure. Could you hypothesize a couple players you would trade CMC for? Would you consider trading Mason plus an asset for CMC if you're 3-0? I would. It to me though, it's hard to hypothesize. Like it really depends on what players you have and what players you can actually trade. Because for me, like it depends on the overall roster, and it depends on what your specific options are, as opposed to just spitballing a couple players. You know what I mean? So, eh. But I don't know. I depending on the asset, I might just hold Jordan Mason. Amari or Higgins, Dre, I'd definitely go Higgins against Commanders. I do think Amari definitely. I think Amari's a good start this week against the Giants. The targets have been there. Just got to get it together here. But definitely Higgins. He's been a must start for me all week long. Well, depending on his health, but he's going to play. LA need to Adams, Rice, Smith. Oh, well, you can't really go wrong. Is the good news. It's probably Adams. You just can't go wrong. We'll fire up Adams against the Panthers, though. I mean, it's not a great matchup for Rice, but I just don't think it matters. He's going to be so involved no matter what. But I mean, Devonta Smith is a must-start player for me every single week. And he's the wide receiver 1 right now. I mean, Brown's not playing, so I guess I'll go Adams and Rice. Maybe just because I believe the most in the Saints defense. But you can't go wrong here. White, Pollard, or Ford? Definitely Pollard. I like White this week. Good matchup for him. He's, playing, groin injuries, not going to be an issue, I guess. Ford has a good matchup too, but Pollard for me. Pollard's so safe. Tyler, does Mostert have any trade value? No. Unfortunately, no. Just no. Ryder, who do I start at my flex in the 16-man league? Jennings, Naylor, or Pirine? Not Pirine for me. It's Jennings or Naylor, who both have good matchups. Ooh. Game script might benefit Jalen Naylor more. You're really flipping a coin between Jennings and Naylor. Chat, let me know, where is your gauge on Jennings for the week? Like, I think he's fine if you have to start him, but I mean, it is a really good matchup. Do you guys feel like he's kind of a player that you're looking to try and start? Or are you just kind of like, you know what I mean? I think it probably holds more value if you're in a spot where you have to start him. So I think I kind of lean Jalen Naylor. We'll see. But it's not Pirine for me. Albert, what's up? Good to see you, bro. See Butler, you are welcome. Yeah, that was a tough one. See Butler, that Pierce McLaurin. I feel like I didn't give you a great answer, but that's tough. It's tough. Dre, I'm still going Higgins over Amari. Gerald, what are your thoughts on Tank Dell this week? I'm giving him one more shot. I'm giving Dell one more start. That's been my call. Was my call early in the week. That's going to continue to be my call. Tank Dell, we're giving you one more opportunity in the flex. Space Ghost, ayo. Diego, T. Higgins, Zamir, Swift at the flex. Higgins for sure. If Higgins has a bad game, you guys can, unsubscribe. Please don't. But Higgins is my call for the week. Zamir and Swift do have good matchups. Hunter, so at wide receiver, I can start B. Tom or Waddle. In the flex, I can start Swift, Akers, or whatever wide receiver you didn't start. I just start Waddle and B. Tom in full PPR. Give me the wide receivers. Space Ghost, hope you are doing well. Was offered Scary Terry and Chubb for Diggs and Singletary. Nah. Keep Diggs and Singletary. Seen a 2-touchdown game out of Diggs. We've seen Terry have no red zone targets. I don't know if Chubb's even playing this year, and at least Singletary against bad run defenses will score like last week. Yeah, I don't see any value in Chubb. I'm not trading for Chubb. I mean, I get it, but I don't. You look at this Browns offense. If you're Nick Chubb, are you rushing onto the field anytime soon? No. I would not be trading for Chubb. Green Bean, what do you think is a good return on Kamara in a trade and dynasty? I mean, you just got to sell him high. I've seen some different trades out there for Kamara. If you guys use Reddit, I do encourage you guys to get on the fantasy football subreddit and the sleeper apps subreddit. And there's fantasy football advice. There's just some different ones because I mean, similar to running this channel, you just will see so many different leagues, so many different trades and questions and different levels of experience of fantasy football and stuff like that. So I think that's a good resource, but I will say there's a lot of inexperienced people on there, but I mean, not that I'm so good at fantasy or whatever, but sometimes I'm you just got to make sure you're selling him high, and you want to be selling him to a team that's trying to bring home that chip this year. So you should be able to get a first rounder and more. Is T. Higgins on a limited snap count? Nothing that I've heard of, but here's the thing. Sometimes, though, even in a matchup like this on a limited snap count, he should be fine. I haven't seen anything about a limited snap count, though. Don't quote me. Ryder, who do I start at my flex in a 16-man league? Jennings, Naylor. Oh, we hit this already. Sorry. Ricky, what's up, bro? Last flex spot in PPR. It's Rashid Shaheed. Shaheed against the Eagles should be a must start, automatic, no brainer. Pickens, I'm not going to start him against Chargers. I don't like this game script. Coleman already played, so hopefully you didn't start him. No, Coleman did not play. I'm sorry. That was last Thursday. This Thursday was a different team in that division. Two of them, the Jets and the Patriots. Sorry, once again, I'm sick. I'm doing my best tonight, guys. I'm not starting Coleman after having 1 target and 0 reception. He's on my bench if he's even on my team. Shahid, easy play. Easy play, Ricky. George, play 0-1. Start 2 in non-PPR. JMO, JSN, DJ Moore, Waddle, Flowers. This is pretty easy for me. It's JMO and Flowers. I mean, you definitely got plenty of names here, but especially in a non-PPR format, we want to look for the best touchdown upside. That's Flowers and JMO, and both those guys should have good game scripts this week. So those would be my plays. Would you do T over Waddle or start Waddle and flex Pitts in a tight end flex league? I do T over Waddle. I'd probably still go Waddle over Pitts. But, I mean, there's risk associated with the Dolphin. Any Dolphins player this week, I guess. Diego says he'd start Jawan Jennings. Ryder says, I believe out of Naylor or Jennings that Naylor is safer floor. Has had touchdowns past 2 weeks, but Jawan will be a monster if the Niners don't get up and tote that rock every play. Tough call. It is a tough call. This is basically how I feel too. Naylor is kind of the floor play. Then if you want upside per se, go Jawan Jennings against the Rams. Not a start sit question, says Hunter, but do I trade Debo away for Tank? And BTJ, no. I would not do this. No. Gerald, you're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you, Gerald. You are doing a great job. Tyler, should I continue to stash Algier? I mean, if you're holding Algier, you're just holding him as a handcuff. So if I say no and Bijan gets hurt this week, then that would be very disappointing. It really depends on the roster. It depends on the needs. You know what I mean? So, if you need additional running back help, potentially, as the season goes on, if you're already, mounting up injuries at running backs or whatever, then, just depends. Hoping for a Bijan injury. All right, Lex, plant some trees. Drop Leggett or Downs for Spears, Madison, or Zeke. Need RB depth. Probably Leggett. I mean, I guess there's risk dropping Leggett in case, he becomes Andy Dalton's favorite wide receiver, or whatever. But I guess it's Leggett for me. I believe in Josh Downs more. So Spears, Madison, or Zeke. Probably Zeke. I'd rank those guys Zeke, Madison, Spears. And I'd probably drop Leggett. Ricky, PPR start 1, Aaron Jones, Akers, or Javonte. I'll still go Aaron Jones. I'll probably rank them in this exact order. Jones, Akers, Javonte. Would be a good trade for Diggs, trying for Olave. Once again, it really depends. Like for me, it's hard to just spitball like what's a good trade. It really depends on your specific roster and potentially what the Diggs owner has as well. But it really depends on your roster as a whole, what you can actually offer. Chase, DK or Flowers? I kind of lean Flowers. I know DK is coming off a big game. And it's not a bad opportunity here for DK this week. The Dolphins are still top 10 against wide receivers on the year, but I like Flowers. More competitive game script. Close. Green Bean. That's what I thought about Kamara too, but dude thought I was crazy. I asked for what should be a later first round plus Bucky Irving. He said it was too expensive. Nah. Don't trade Kamara to him. No. No, he's wrong. Tommy Higgins or JMO? PPR got St. Brown in my lineup. Dak, Gino, or Darnold if Love doesn't play. I mean, I really like JMO this week. Liked him a lot the last 2 weeks. I think he's super solid, but I'd probably take the upside with Higgins here. If you want to go JMO, that's fine. But maybe you don't because you have St. Brown. Dak, Gino, or Darnold. I think Dak's going to be better this week. I think you get really safe floors out of Darnold and Gino. They were both on the video today for last minute waiver additions. If you need someone to stream, my heart wants to say go Dak. My heart is with Dak this week, apparently, last minute here. I think you get a pretty similar floor out of all three of these quarterbacks. Who has the best matchup? I think it might be. No, the Dolphins are 6 against quarterbacks, so it's not Gino. I'm wrong. Ravens are 16th, right in the middle. The Texans are the best matchup. So if you're going by matchup, it's Sam Darnold. You're welcome, Green Bean. Dub Nation, Moss or Pickens. This week I'll go Moss. I don't feel good about Pickens whatsoever. Not again. Not just Pickens. I don't feel good about this Chargers Steelers matchup. So maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm worried about points in that game. Don't like the Denver defense against Baker, Surtain for sure. I'm not too worried about it, but I understand the concern. Ryder, thanks for the advice. You're a great guy. Love your stuff. Keep going. Appreciate that, man. That's very, very kind to you. You are a great guy. You keep going. Happy to help you and happy to help everyone in any way I can to the best of my abilities. Dub Nation, Dobbins or ETN? ETN. Yeah. ETN was on the must start video this week, so ETN. Pristine, start one as a flex. Reed, Coop, or Waddle. You know, I'm going Cooper this week against the Giants. If Cooper doesn't get it done this week, he's benched until further notice, but I'll go Coop against the Giants. Happy PR, Akers or Diggs? That's tough, Gabe. I'll probably go for the upside with Diggs, but you could go Akers here. I mean, half PPR, generally, I prefer running back, but that's very close. Pete, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying your college team playing right now. I think that's what you're doing. Zach Moss, worth reaching for from thin at running back. Barkley, Swift, Javonte, and Irving, or trade Waddle for better running back. Zach Moss is worth reaching for, yeah. I mean, Zach Moss is not going to have a high ceiling anytime soon. But, I mean, this Bengals offense should continue to improve. And Moss was bad last week, but was fine week 1. He gets Washington, the Panthers, the Ravens, the Giants. He should have a couple good games coming up here. I'll go Zach Moss. But yeah, I mean, maybe you could try and trade Waddle. See what you can get. Hawks or the Packers D? I like both a lot this week. I think I lean the Packers by a hair, but I like both a lot. They both made the must-start defense video. Shane, what's up? Trade, redraft, 14-team PPR, Pittman and Kyron for J.K. Dobbins and Shaheed, I would do that trade. But Pittman could improve as the season goes on, and Kyron is going to be solid. But like, I feel like Kyron Dobbins, I can't believe I'm saying this, is basically a wash. And I'd rather have the upside in Shaheed right now. And wow, imagine, doing this trade right after a draft in August. The collusion going into week 3, it's very realistic. Isn't it crazy how things change so quickly? I mean, if you feel good about it, I'm okay with it, but I mean, I still probably prefer Kyron here over Dobbins. Close. How do you feel about it, Shane? Ryder, how do you feel about Worthy after all the Kansas City injuries? I mean, my viewpoint on Worthy just hasn't changed. Like, Worthy's a boomer bust flex option with a lot of risk. And week 1 and week 2 are the perfect example of that, But yeah, I mean, they should get Worthy more involved, and he might get more, more of those rushes, more of those touches on the ground. But we'll just have to see. But I mean, that's the thing, right? This Chiefs offense is going to start airing it out more. But they'll get the run game going at some point. So Worthy just hasn't really changed for me. Chase, you're welcome, bro. Godzilla toes. When I was a kid, I loved Godzilla. I used to watch Godzilla like every day. Fun fact. Should I start at my flex, DJ Moore and Dobbins? I'm probably going DJ Moore. I mean, he still had double digits in full PPR the first 2 weeks. Just give me DJ Moore. I'm off at Dobbins for the week against the Steelers. Tyler, thanks for all your help, of course, bro. How do you feel about my lineup? Lamar, Pickens, Mooney, Lockett, JT, Chuba, Ferguson, Braylon Allen, Matt Prater, the Chargers defense. You must have been hit by the injury bug. I mean, you could get through here. Don't get me wrong. But I'm nervous about Pickens. I'm still nervous about Mooney, and I definitely am not confident in Lockett. Chuba, I think you could definitely hope for a better RB2 there. But he should get you through. Ferguson is nice to have back. I guess he already started Braylon Allen, so he got what, like 9 points? Lamar is fine. Matt Prater's fine. Chargers defense fine. I'm a little nervous about this lineup. Not going to lie. But it is enough to get you through. Cross my fingers. Pristine, what if Jaden Reed has Jordan Love because he's still questionable? So Reed Cooper. All right, I will say this much. If Jordan Love plays, then Jaden Reed can be in starting lineups. That's fair. But if Reed doesn't play, I'd stick with Coop. Ty Chandler, Pirine, or Ford? Ford. Give me Ford against the Giants. Not going to be too worried about Deonta Foreman. Pete's watching A&M be terrible. Wish I could be on. We wish you were here, Pete. Tommy, whiskey or vodka? I only drink like once in a blue moon. If I do, it would probably be whiskey. I like an old fashioned. It's my drink of choice. One of my best friends got married the other week. Shout out to Tyler. And they had whiskey gingers. Is that what it's called? I drank one of those. It was tasty. Tight end for this week. Asked George play. Non-PPR. Gesicki, Strange, Parkinson, Ertz, Smith. I mean, the 3 best streaming options are going to be Gesicki, Strange, and Ertz. But Gesicki, Might be losing some targets with Higgins back. I like Strange. I like Ertz. And I still like Gesicki. And Johnny Smith is not bad. I don't know if the thesis on Parkinson's going to last. It was not there last week. Was not there last week. That's tough, man. I mean, here's the problem. Like when we're looking at this caliber of tight end, and like when you're streaming tight end and you're going for players like this, like you need a touchdown or you need like 10 receptions, like, or you need like at least 60 to 70 receiving yards. There's really no in between. So I think you got to probably look at matchup here. For Gesicki, the Commanders are giving up the fewest fantasy points to tight ends. The Bengals are at 14th, not good, but not really bad either. And then the Bills have been bad. They're bottom 10 against position. So I'd probably go Brenton Strange. 9.5 points last week. Give me the Strange. Let's fire him up. Shane, I feel like getting out on Pittman. Kyron scares me with the O-line hurt. Almost everyone hurt. That's fair too. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid trade for you. I'd be okay with it if you feel good about it. Tyler lost Raheem, AJ Brown, and Debo. Yeah, like I think if you have AJ Brown and Debo in your lineup, you're far, far better shape. But yeah, you can get through with that team. But I won't lie, I'm a little nervous. Tommy going with Dak, Tyreek, Evans, Barkley, Pollard, Kincaid, Shaheed. You got Justin Tucker and the Cowboys defense. Looks solid. I don't trust the Cowboys defense, though. I don't. I mean, maybe we have one of these games. I mean, I've heard a lot of talk about the Ravens just looking super one-dimensional and super easy to figure out. Like, Henry's on the field, it's a run. They run, on the early downs, unless they have a short, field position on third down. Justice Hill's in the game, it's a pass. So maybe the Cowboys are prepared at home. I don't know. But I worry about the Cowboys defense. Don't know that I love them this week. Other than that, lineup looks very good. Pop. If I have Charbs, Ford, Akers, Butty, and Connor, if I had to sit one, who do I sit? Jeez. I mean, all these guys can outscore each other, but I have to sit Akers. We haven't seen them play. So Charbs against the Dolphins must start. Monty, you can't sit. Connor, you can't sit. Ford, good matchup against the Giants. Akers does have a tough matchup too. I mean, the Vikings have not been bad, so I'll set Akers. Start sitting that same link PPR, trying to fill my second flex as Shane. Waddle, Shakir, Jennings. Jennings if you want upside. Shakir if you want a floor. I might go Shakir personally, but Jennings has upside. Once again, I'm not necessarily out on Waddle, but yeah. Tommy, other team, Lamar, St. Brown, Olave, Monty Ford, Kincaid, Higgins, the Bass Man, the Packers D, lost Pacheco. Moment of silence for Pacheco. Take a sip of water for Pacheco. Team looks good here. Yeah. I think you'll make it through. Chase, I think we underestimated how much of a project Richardson is. Yeah. Pete and I, Pete especially talked about this in the offseason a lot. Like a lot. Had a lot of concerns for Richardson. Katz is in the chat. He remembers this. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot in terms of the pass game that needs to be worked on for sure. We shall see. Paul, what's up? Dobbins or Shaheed or Eckler? Shaheed, easy. Starting Diggs and Rice, Henry and Monty. Yeah, it's got to be Shaheed. Shaheed against the Eagles is a must-start play. Dobbins, bad matchup. Eckler, Dobbins will probably still be like fine. But I just it depends on your other options. And when you got a guy like Shaheed, I'm going to go Shaheed. I'm all in on Shaheed this week against the Eagles. I think that Jerry Jeudy's going to do good this week. I think if you were like in a bad spot and you have to start Jeudy in a full PPR format, sure. Gets the Giants. He's had double-digit fantasy points in the first 2 games of the season. So that's fine. That's where I leave Jeudy at. Fine. If you don't have anything better, he is fine. I can drop the Cowboys, pick up Packers, Bills, or Colts. Yeah, I would rather start the Packers or the Bills, hands down. Now, the Packers have a little bit of risk. They're on the road. They played really well last week. They didn't play well week 1. Their run defense still wasn't great last week. Their secondary played well. But they're a nice upside play against the Titans. And the Bills had like 17 points last week against the Jags. Really is dependent on if the Jags play poorly or not. And their offense got up in the air. So, but I feel better about both those starts over Dallas, personally. So hopefully Dallas defense doesn't ball out because I said that. Tommy, thank you, bro. Good luck to you as well. All right, guys. I planned on streaming longer tonight, but like I said throughout the stream, I'm just like under the weather. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and get them in. Last couple minutes here, and we'll start wrapping up. I'll probably start to do longer streams on Saturday nights, but I'm just super annoyed because I was literally sick like a month ago. I don't know. I guess it's just that time of year. Got to take your vitamin C, boys and girls. But if you guys need anything last minute, go ahead and get it in. I will hop on before tomorrow's action. We should have a video come out in the morning for you guys too. If you guys need anything last second, I'll be here tomorrow. Tommy, what's up? Fantasy Pro says JD5 is a QB8 rest of the season. What's your thoughts? It's so hard. Like, what? Allen, Mahomes, Jackson, Hurts, Stroud, Kyler. Are we still putting A-Rich in there? That's 7. Then you still got Burrow, Dak. Jordan Love's going to come back. Is Purdy going to improve? Is Goff going to improve? Then we got Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield lighting it up. We got Sam Darnold on the rise. Geno Smith hasn't been playing bad. Kirk Cousins could be much improved. Rest of season is like, I don't know. Rest of season is a tough ask in terms of rankings. But yeah, I mean, I think he's probably still in the top 10 because of that rushing upside. So I know we got 2 Tommies now. We are welcoming of all Tommies. All Tommies are welcome here. All right, guys. So sorry to end the stream a little bit earlier than I thought. We still were over an hour, so not bad. But like I said, I'll be on for last minute roster lineup adjustments tomorrow. Should have a video coming out in the morning. I got to throw that together tonight. So as always, drop a comment on any of the videos. If you guys want something answered, comments in the videos or hopping on the live streams are where you're going to get a guaranteed answer for me. So yeah. All right. Good luck to everyone tomorrow. If I don't talk to you, make sure you guys sit back and enjoy some football, if nothing else. And look out for tomorrow morning's video and look out for tomorrow morning's stream. All right, thank you guys so much for the fantasy questions tonight. Great stream. Appreciate you guys. And we'll go ahead and call it a night. So with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And